Yeah, so thank you, Clement. Thank you guys all for being here today. I really wanted to share my experiences and my thoughts on developing the mindset when you're a freelancer and also when you're an agency owner, and just kind of what that means. I hope today, that we could just inspire some new ways of thinking, perhaps come to some new realizations together. And by all means, you can ask questions at the end. I'm an open book, so I'm willing to share. But first, about me, I have been a designer and a developer since 2008, and I worked at a couple small agencies, but I also freelanced for probably 10 years. And in 2017, I founded Brave Factor in America, and then co-founded Brave Factor Indonesia here. I'm also the co-founder of GatherKit, which is a content collection tool, and we have a team of 9 plus a network of freelancers that we work with. Just to give hopefully a little bit of weight, we've worked on small projects, of $500 as well as projects up to $50,000. And I wanted to just be upfront and honest with that, because there's different expectations, there's different experiences, and it will all come into play later. But first, I wanted to talk through what is the difference between a freelancer and an agency, besides the obvious. The freelancer is typically skilled in what you do. So you are a mercenary, so to speak. You have very specific skills and you join a team, or you work directly under someone else who's giving you assignments. That could be the client, or it could be another agency. You manage your own tasks, you manage your own deadlines, and really those deadlines depend on you. So if you get sick or if you need to take a vacation, your projects have to stop. And as a freelancer, you do have less overhead. Your costs are your own. So, you are going to have expenses like your computer, software. If you want to pay for Wi-Fi with your company money, then that is, all you have to worry about, as well as whatever money you make is your salary, is yours. Whereas an agency, you're typically an agency owner specifically, you're typically leading a team in order to solve the client's problem. And you're acting more as a partner with the client rather than a worker, I would say. You're going to need to manage multiple people because an agency is a little bit more of a machine where if one person is sick, the show has to go on. You can't just stop the deadline. If everybody's sick, that's a different issue. But if one person's sick, usually somebody else is able to step up and help avoid any delays. And an agency does have high overhead. There are a lot more costs. You're managing multiple people's salaries. You have office space, you have chairs, you have desks, you have internet, you have taxes, you have insurance, you have legal fees. There's a lot more that you have to be aware of as an agency owner compared to a freelancer. There's also kind of a newer thing where I don't specifically know the term. I called it a freelance network, but it is really a group of friends who are working together. So maybe you're a developer and a designer, a copywriter, a SEO person. And depending on the project, you're able to lean on your friends' skills and grow as the project demands. So even if you are not skilled with like SEO, you're still able to sell it and offer that to your clients, and you can collaborate together on many tasks. It's still low overhead. You can still work remotely. It's not like you need to be sitting in an office every day. But if, I would say this is kind of the intermediary step of freelancer to an agency is perhaps this freelance network. So we're talking about mindset. And I know for myself, I idolized becoming an agency. It was a goal of mine. I wanted to run an agency. I wanted to have a team. I wanted to I wanted the stress of managing people's salaries. And I wanted to develop my leadership in that way. And I apologize if this next section is a little blunt, but the first question is a hard one. And that is, if you want to become an agency, should you become an agency? I will be sharing these slides later if this is something you want to work through slowly on your own. But should you become an agency, it requires a lot of different skills and it has a lot of different challenges than being a freelancer. Like, can you work with others? When it's not just you, can you communicate problems from a client to your team effectively? Do they understand those questions? Can you help them with their questions and get those answered? Can you stay organized? Start practicing by yourself if you're organized yourself, because as you grow the team, you're going to have multiple people, multiple clients. I need this here. Where's the password for this there? And things can slip through the cracks very quickly. Can you handle the stress of paying your employees? As a freelancer, we know that times are slow and times are good, but as an agency owner, it doesn't matter if times are slow or times are good, you have to pay your employees, and they depend on you for their salaries. So are you able to continue to sell and keep your team busy? Do you have grit? And this is a weird American word, I think. It's the tenacity. Do you have what it takes that when times get hard, you have slow months, you're losing money, you have things that you never thought would ever happen to you happen. And you have stress, you have potentially lawsuits, whatever that is, are you able to push through? And this next one it hurts. It hurts. It's not good. Are you able to fire people, especially people that you adore? As an agency owner, you are a business. And if people are not able to do their work or whatever problems arise, are you able to fire them? Because that comes with the job. No negotiation about that. That comes with the job. And then more on the business side of things, do you have a replicable customer acquisition process? As in, are you able to keep bringing customers in? I heard very early in our business that luck is not a marketing strategy. It's not a business strategy. Luck is luck. So are you able to consistently, have a good marketing campaign and have good word of mouth, have whatever it is to keep those clients coming in? This next one is something that I struggle with, and that is, can you create a process that operates without you? I've heard it said also that if the business stops when you leave, or if you get sick, it's not really a very successful business. It depends too much on you. So are you able to manage that way and let go of control in that way? Are you financially ready? And this one is a good one to start practicing as a freelancer, as an agency owner, whatever it is. Can you grow your runway? And a runway is when you have enough in your savings for lasting longer, where you're not going to go into the negative. What is your net profit? What are your expenses? And have you calculated your gross profit margin? All of these things are very basic business questions, which we can talk more about later in the questions if you guys have questions about it. But just being financially aware and being able to run the business and make money. And then there's things outside of marketing, outside of making money, and that is, what kind of agency do you want to be? What kind of leader do you want to be? If you have a team, how are you going to manage them? Are you going to track hours? Or are you going to give them more creative freedom? What kind of expectations are you going to have? Managing a team, managing clients is one thing, managing a team is totally different. And it's something that I think a lot of managers don't realize how difficult it is sometimes until you're thrown into a management position. Are you working harder or smarter? And this is just a good thing, we'll talk on this later too, of we only have so many hours in the day. So how can you work more efficiently and get more done in your time? What makes your agency unique from others? If you do plan on making an agency, how are you going to differentiate yourself? What is your unique selling proposition? So that if you do get those clients, if you do get potential employees, what makes you unique? What makes you better than the other agencies? And the last one is, are you proactive or reactive? And this is actually something that is great to develop now, and that is having that kind of foresight of seeing into the future and trying to plan accordingly. So what I mean by that is that as you get more business, you're going to have more staff that needs to help, right? When you have more staff, you need a bigger office for them to work in. When you have more staff, you need more computers, you have to buy more coffee, and you need more tables and chairs, and so on. So are you proactive in planning a proper growth strategy before you get the clients? Or are you reactive and quickly trying to hire whoever you can get in order to work on the projects that you have taken on too much of, hopefully? So before you take on a new client, it's important to make sure that you have a growth strategy in place, which does have risk with it. If you are hiring people before you have projects, you got to make sure that you can still pay them, that that you're still growing in a good way. So those are only some of the challenges of running an agency. I heard this when I was 18 years old, is you need a stomach of steel to run a business. And I never really considered how true that was until we started running a business and having more staff and dealing with bigger and bigger clients. Is you really need a stomach of steel. You need strength and you need tenacity. Another thing, before we talk about mindset, is money, because especially as a freelancer, I think sometimes we idolize, oh, you can make more money as an agency. You see these agencies taking on $1 million projects, and potentially we can't do that as a freelancer. So I wanted to share some of my thoughts and experiences with this, where a freelancer does not mean cheap. It does not mean cheap at all, but typically it is cheaper than an agency because they have less overhead. And this one, just to give some insight, I changed it to Judah. Sorry, Chris. As an agency, our expenses are more than 100 Judah, so like $8,000, $10,000 per month, USD. That is before any founders get paid. That is just salary, that is just taxes, that is insurance, electricity, Wi-Fi, the computer's broke, Adobe software, whatever it is. We have to have that money in our bank account because it's coming out every month, no matter what. And as a business owner, you always get paid last. Especially if you're a startup business, you might not be paid for the first 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. You might just be, having to cover your expenses. There are agencies in America. I know specifically of one in Los Angeles. It was a very premium agency. They worked with Coldplay. They worked on $1 million projects. It cost them $100,000 US to run their agency every month. Again, salaries, rent, electricity, marketing, all of that goes into that. So yes, agencies do charge more, but agencies have a lot more risk, a lot of people depending on them, and a lot of overhead that freelancers do not have. So the short of it is just the cost of freelancer is not the same as an agency. And something that we learned is that the higher prices you charge, the higher the client's expectations. We've worked on website projects that were $5,000, and you do have high maintenance $5,000 clients. That is true, but it's a lot easier to overcome, to do really, really good on those projects. compared to the $50,000 one. The $50,000 one had a lot more pressure. It had a lot more risk. And we always had been trying to shoot higher and higher projects. And now we're kind of happier lower because it's just the expectations are so much more. So that's something to keep in mind is as you raise your prices, the expectation is going to increase as well. People will only pay for what they think the project is worth. And hopefully you're able to connect with clients who value your expertise, who value your time. And I saw something just this past week, which really helped inspire my thought process around this, is you need to offer a fair price. Michael Janda did a whole slide on how Disney became his biggest client. He's at Morjanda if you want to check it out. I think it's titled How Disney Became My Biggest Client. And he tells the story of how he was able to make the most money from Disney and how he worked up to that. And he summed it up with, you need to charge fair prices to your clients. And so of course people flooded the comments of what the heck does a fair price mean? And he said that fair prices are fair to the client for the work that they're asking. It's fair to you for the profit you should yield for the work, fair to the value that you create for the client, fair to what other people are charging for similar services, which is a market value. He says fair does not mean cheap. It's just fair is considering a variety of variables. So, I think with us, we have hit a market cap, the market value of on some of our services, because what we offer for the scope that we offer and even the quality that we offer, we can't charge more than that because the client's not going to think it's fair and they're not going to pay for that. So this is a quick list. Take a screenshot of if you are hoping to increase your project's value as a freelancer, as an agency owner, and you're hoping to increase your pricing. What are some ways you can do that help match those clients' expectations? And that is more of the soft skills, I believe. It is understanding goals better, understanding their tasks better, and understanding your clients' feedback better. I try to do everything as much as I can to reduce a lot of back and forth communication. So if we're hitting like 3 revisions on something, I feel like I have failed. I feel like that I have misunderstood them, and the client's starting to get more and more frustrated, right? So everything that I can do to make sure that it goes through in 1 revision, 2 revisions is smooth, and the clients are usually happier with that. Frequent communication. And what I mean by this is the bigger the project that we have, the more that I talk with them. Something that makes clients feel good is just that you don't disappear. They want to know that you're working, even when, there's nothing to update them on. So what we personally do in our agency is we send weekly emails. And then I also have a weekly 30-minute, 1-hour phone call with the client, just to talk about any questions, concerns, look at the timeline together, share where we are, share where we're stuck, make sure that we have what we need from them. It has helped us increase our pricing because it is more personal care. It's more service. It makes the project smoother and it makes the clients happier. Part of frequent communication, however, is how fluent you are in a language. And I know this is really tough to say, but I would not be able to work with, say, a Japanese company because I don't speak that language. No matter how good of work I do, I'm not going to understand their tasks because I cannot communicate with them. Even just English alone, me being American, the words that I use and the phrases that I use are different than Australian English, or different than UK English, or different than Singlish. And I have to familiarize myself with their phrases and their words in order to understand what they're trying to communicate. So things like that, just the client feeling like they can communicate with you is incredibly valuable. And it's one way to increase the value that you offer. Other ways to increase that price, to increase that value, is creating clear timelines and hitting your deadlines. That creates more trust because you're showing that you can do what you say you're going to do. Increasing your services or your quality. So that might be, if you do splash pages, for example, maybe you spend more time with SEO. Maybe you start implementing better security practices, start offering strategy. So that was one way that we were able to sell bigger projects of digital strategy, understanding who the target audience is, understanding what the target audience is looking for on that page, and helping to develop like funnels. Maybe you offer more training for the client on, especially if you hand off the full Elementor website to them, you can train them on how to use Elementor. Things like that can help increase the value. One thing that Jeff says from the Building Business with Elementor group, he always says under promise and over deliver. And I like to do this too. So when you create your scope of work, make it realistic, make it really good, make the client feel like they're getting what they want, and then try to over deliver on it. They will usually be happier if you spend a little bit extra time on this, or make sure that you put extra care into that it's a great way to create better word of mouth. And then the final one is making sure that the client feels confident in every milestone, and that is creating a peace of mind. So really, at the end of day, people pay for peace of mind. If they don't feel safe, if they don't feel confident, they're not going to pay you, period. They're matching their confidence level in you with the price. So, if you're having struggle with the projects that you're trying to get, we can start practicing some of these mindset things to increase the client's confidence. Like, again, screenshot it if you want, or we have it saved later, but how to start practicing on creating a peace of mind for your clients. And the first way to do this is projecting confidence. Not saying is one way to project confidence, but projecting confidence, just being more like, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, let me look into that. That's not a problem. Being that confident leader, so the client feels like you know what you're doing and that you will bring this project to the finish line. Creating a peace of mind is building your reputation, and this has to be external. It means nothing when you say you are the best web agency according to you, because of course we all think we're awesome, but having external sources will create more trust. It creates proof that you are actually what you say you are. You can do this through reviews. You can try to get awards, verifications, certificates, even something like Upwork. Getting those reviews will help build your reputation and create more trust in you. Presenting a professional portfolio and a professional proposal. People hire based on the work that you have done. So, I've had clients who say to me like, hey, we're really interested with your agency, but we're not impressed with this work. It's not what we're looking for. So there is something to be said of design for the job that you want. So the more that you can prove to them, here's exactly what I can deliver for you, or here's a really beautiful proposal, here's a really good CV, that will create more trust of, okay, this person put the time into this portfolio, put the time into proposal. They're going to put the time into my project too. Use good contracts. Every time I do a talk, I talk about contracts. Freelancer, agency, no matter what, use good contracts. It makes you look more professional. It will protect you. It will protect your client, and it will make the expectations very, very clear when you create a good scope of work and you lay out, we are creating this, this, and this by this deadline for this price. Here's what happens if we don't deliver. Here's what happens if you disappear. All these things need to be written and signed with your clients, and that will create more trust as well. Another way to create peace of mind is prove that you can't run away. This is specifically for freelancers, and especially because we are in Southeast Asia, potentially trying to get clients in America or Australia. They don't know where we are. We're in a totally different country. And having some kind of proof that you're not just going to disappear will make them feel more confident. This could be a real address. This could be business formation, so some kind of business document. It could even be a platform backing you, which is why I think websites like Upwork and Freelancer and Fiverr are so successful, is because the client trusts the website. They don't think you're just going to disappear because the website is saying, no, we're going to make sure that you get what you're paying for. So any way that you can do that too, to be like, this is where I am, this is where you can find me, I'm taking on, the legal responsibility for this project, is another way to build trust. And then the final way is just be honest with them. It sounds manipulative, but use it in an honest situation. There are times when I'm talking with clients or potential clients where they're trying to decide if they want to work with us, and they ask for something that's maybe not needed. Maybe they want to build the new Facebook or something, and they don't really, their clients don't use that or something. So there will be times when I say, listen, I just want to be honest with you. I don't think this is something that you're going to need, or listen, I want to be honest with you. I don't know if we're able to help you with this. Whatever it is, just being honest and pushing back makes you more of a professional, because you're giving your opinion, and they're going to take that into account. Oh, yellow. So to sum it up, Michael Janda said, do good work at fair prices and be nice to everyone. The root of business isn't that complicated, which kind of leads me into our mindset talk. I know that was quite a bit, but it really doesn't matter if you're a freelancer or an agency owner. You need to think of yourself like a business. See, I used Indonesian examples, Clement. I hope it makes sense for everyone. Freelancer is great. There are times when agency owners, like myself, there's times when I wish I could be a freelancer again. And I know there's times when freelancers wish they could be agency owners. So it doesn't really matter what stage you are in right now. You need to think of yourself like a business, and we need to start developing a business mindset. We say in America that a hobby costs money, but a business makes money. So if that's true, if you, I think it's cookies, I forgot the name of it, Chris. If you make cake at your house and you give it to your family, that's a hobby. It costs you some money. You're doing it for fun. You give it away for free. It's great. If you make the cake and you sell it to your family, that's a business. If you're able to find a way to make your product better and better, and you make money from it, you're covering your expenses, that's a business. So it doesn't matter if you only have a home kitchen compared to an industrial kitchen. If you make money, you're a business. And there are businesses that lose money, I know, but the goal is to make money, right? So what that means is that we need to develop a business mindset. And a business mindset is where you see problems as opportunities and you try to make money from it. So what I wanted to chat through was, I don't know how I'm doing on time yet, but I want to chat through, I think it's 6 or 7 different mindset skills on how to, as a freelancer, as an agency owner, as a freelancer with a group of friends who's trying to do something, how to become more professional, how to become a better business person. The first mindset skill is how to turn problems into opportunities. This involves having a positive mindset. There are a lot of research, a lot of science behind being positive, and when something negative happens to you, being able to see the light side of it, being able to move forward, especially if something negative happens being able to see how can I turn this in my favor. It's the make lemons into lemonade kind of thing, right? And part of that includes practicing creative thinking, practicing critical thinking, that as a business owner, freelancer, agency, whatever, you have to be critically thinking, how can I make my business better? How can I make my clients' experience better? What are the things that I do 1,000 times a day, and how can I do that only once? All of that is critical thinking and trying to push yourself towards being more productive. Be curious, be creative. We're constantly learning as business leaders. And part of the critical thinking is looking into the horizon instead of at your feet. What I mean by this is Chris Do would say this all the time. As a business owner, if he was sitting designing logos, drawing logos, he's too busy focused on the task that he's doing, that he's not able to look up and see into the future, see into the horizon. Oh, shoot, there's an iceberg there. I need to steer my ship away from that. So practice starting to be more aware of what's going on, be more aware of technology, be more aware of trends. This is the whole NFTs and cryptocurrency thing is horizon, Meta's horizon. What are ways that we can start adjusting ourselves to the world and be more productive in that? Final one is obvious, be open to new opportunities. So there are times as a business owner where what you're doing is not working anymore. DVDs were a big thing, and now my computer doesn't even fit a DVD in it. So we have to constantly be evolving and not get stuck, constantly trying to find ways to improve. I see a lot of chats. I will come back to that. Hang tight, everyone. Mindset number 2 is fail quickly and cheaply. This is a startup mentality, but basically what it means is take small steps towards your goals. Get your stuff out sooner. Don't be scared to put yourself out there. Don't be scared to take risks, and take small risks, because when you take a wrong step and you're like, oh shoot, this is not the right way, you're able to change quickly. You're able to take another step in a different direction. And if you pivot quickly, that can save you time and money. So a good example of this was it this slide that I wanted to share? I think it was. We're trying to create our own software right now called GatherKit, and we were pushing it really, really hard to get in AppSumo for the Christmas sales. And it was buggy. It was not ready. And we were pushing on this one path. This is what we have to do. And there's no other path. And we actually had to kind of stop. We had to pivot and focus on improving what we already had instead of trying to launch a buggy app. Did it save us time and money? I'm not sure yet, but it was the right decision at that time, where we could have failed much larger, pushing in the wrong direction. Mindset number 3 is practice resilience, practice grit. We are going to have hard days. As a business owner, it is isolating. It is, you can never really have that victim mentality because we have positive thinking, but it's really hard. You're going to put in long hours, and there's going to be days when it doesn't feel like it's worth it anymore. So being able in the small ways to practice strength, to practice resilience, will help you when you get hit with the really hard stuff. And if you do get hit with the really hard stuff, take the time that you need to recover. Don't push yourself so hard. I had to quit web design and development for a year because I burnt out. I couldn't open my computer again. So being able to not give up, and that was before we started the agency too. So if I had given up then, I wouldn't be where I am today. So taking that year off to rest was able to help me be strong again and be able to grow my business more. Pick yourself back up again. This is a great mentality for children. It's a great mentality for adults, that if we get knocked down, like the song says, we get back up again, that, you know, that we're able to suck it up, stand back up, and keep going. And then honestly, just allowing yourself a little bit of victory that you did get back up again. We get so busy, we just get so focused sometimes as business owners, as business leaders, that we don't celebrate the small wins. And the fact that, you know, that we've gotten through a global pandemic, the fact that we have gotten through some hard economic times, some difficult personal times, is absolutely amazing, and something to be celebrated. That we are where we are today, and we're still working hard to grow our business, is amazing. So be proud of yourselves. Thomas Edison, the creator of the light bulb, said himself that I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That being the light bulb. He was positive and was able to push through 10,000 failures in order for us to have modern electricity nowadays. Number 4 is practice responsibility. And this means taking ownership for everything that happens. You don't have to, I have heard, don't apologize for for poor decisions, because that will make you look like a weak leader. However, taking ownership of, you know, I'm so sorry, we should have gotten this done quicker, or I mismanaged this, or whatever, I misunderstood. Even small things like that can help us to become more and more responsible later. Because as a business owner, you have to understand that everything is and will be your fault. If it goes through you, if your name is on the business, it's your responsibility. It doesn't matter if your intern messed up, if your senior developer messed up, it's you. So being able to practice that is incredibly important, because it will create more trust with your clients, and you'll be able to handle more later on. If you want praise for your success, you need to be responsible for your failures as well. Number 5 is don't be afraid to set boundaries. As business owners, we can't make everybody happy, and we have to be okay with that. Again, you know, we have to fire people, we have to fire clients, we just cannot make everybody happy, or else we won't be happy, you know. So we need to do what we can do to stay in business, and that is making those hard decisions, and that is setting those boundaries and not allowing yourself to go beyond those boundaries. So what that means is just practicing communicating expectations of, we will do 2 revisions, but we will need to charge you for more. We will build 10 pages, but if you want another page, it will cost this much. That you don't get stuck with doing data entry of 100 blog posts without being paid for it, because you've already set those boundaries, you've already set those expectations. Number 6 is focus on your strengths. Don't work on your weaknesses, which is a different mindset than even what I'm used to. I'm used to trying to focus on our weakness and become a better person, but maybe try letting that go. Hire someone that can complement your weakness and focus on your strengths. There are things that only you can do. As a business owner, freelancer or agency, you're a business owner. You need to know your value, and you need to understand how you are unique and how you are the vision to your own brand. So do the work that only you can do, and hire others to do the other work. Even if this is admin work, if you need an accountant because you're bad with numbers like I am, hire somebody to do that for you who's good at it, who will do it correctly, and then focus on what you can do more, like more sales or more design or more development, more marketing, whatever that is, right? So you can work hard, but you also need to work smart. You need to use your time wisely. We all only have 24 hours in the day. So how can we use each of those hours effectively? And the last one is trust your decisions and don't doubt. You need to think for yourself instead of let others tell you what to do. And this is a big growing experience for me, is just knowing that this is the path I'm going to take. There's no other consideration of the other paths, kind of thing. I've read, I believe it was Forbes, they had an article on what some of the most successful entrepreneurs share, and it's that they don't doubt their decisions. They make a decision and then they just go with it. You know, if you do make the wrong decision, you need to accept that and then readjust, but just that the decision that you make, you move forward. And I think they say something like doubt is the biggest killer of progress or something like that. So being able to push forward. Another thing is practicing when to wait and when to act. And this is, I have no idea how to tell you how to do that. I have gut feelings. I try to listen to my gut of I need to wait in this moment or I need to act right now. And that I think comes with maturity of running a business and knowing how to see what your potential is for the future. So yeah, don't doubt after you make that decision. Here it is. The most successful entrepreneurs do not doubt the decisions that they make. So regardless, again, if you're a freelancer or an agency owner, start practicing these mindset tools, tricks, qualities, whatever you want to call them. Start practicing them, turning problems into opportunities, feeling quickly and pivoting, developing resilience and strength, being more responsible, even for things that you might not be responsible for. If it's got your hand on it, if it's got your name on it, you're responsible for it. Setting clear boundaries, valuing your strengths and valuing your time, using that to your best advantage, and then being brave and trusting yourself. So start acting like a professional and start practicing your mindset, your business mindset, your business mindset today. And yeah, I'm not sure how I'm doing on time, Clement, but that is my presentation.